I don't know, because Brant
I've got to
sounds
get
like
going.
Professor does.
I've got to get back to playing
Yeah, I've been on PlayStation Lifestyle
Nintendo. Wait,
before.
what was it? Animal Crossing New Leaf.
They're kind of like Nintendo
on my
Life or
Nintendo
something
3DS. Reggie, you don't remember that? And his like,
Going live, prepare your bodies.
yeah, I've got to get going. I've got to get back to playing Animal Crossing New Leaf on my Nintendo 3DS.
What?
I just picture Reggie like nonstop, always on just
I've
the
got to leave
3DS,
now.
nothing else.
It is time for me to
Yeah.
I once again must log in to my village. It was so staccato.
Didn't.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how big he was into games. I don't think it was a big thing for him. I feel like he was like a modern day Yamauchi, where he was just like, okay,
But
that's what the kids
I
are
mean,
doing.
shoot,
But
Reggie
he had an
was
eye
awesome,
for it,
though.
you know. Like he knew
I mean,
it would be a big deal,
we've
but it wasn't
seen
like.
Doug Bowser like a
Man, I
couple
can't wait for
times
his
since
kids
he's
to get
taken over.
that Zelda game in their hands where they hold the sword
He's
straight
just
up in the
come
air.
out and been like,
This is gonna be the one.
I'm here to
It was
announce
just like,
this,"
okay,
and then like
that's
you don't see him the rest of the
unique.
thing. And
oh yeah.
Miss the old E3s
Yeah,
with
he's kind of a non-entity.
Reggie, Wada, and
Yeah, his Twitter seems to be kind of like a corporate thing almost. Alright, where's my chat thingy?
chat thingy.
You had all the PlayStation guys too.
What?
There we go, chat thingy. Chat thingy. Brent, did you mean to put Juno Podcast in the in the title?
I don't even know how that got in there.
I've seen. So I'm listening to a Matrix soundtrack, right? And it's Juno Reactor, and they borrowed the name for Final Fantasy VII for the Juno like nuclear. And I'm looking at it like, okay, why is Juno everywhere in my life at this point? What is happening here?
No.
What is that?
I've watched a lot of Tensura.
It might not have been you.
I watched 22 episodes of Tensura, back to back.
It's funny though.
That one's on Crunchyroll. This the time I got reincarnated to
Did y'all play a lot
I
of
watched
games?
the second season.
Me neither.
I didn't want to do every week, and then I just watched them back to back. So
Tensura. What's that on?
Yeah. We've gotten so used to being able to binge things. The few times that I've like
I'm regretting
been watching a show weekly.
Like
I'm just like,
when I finally got around to watching it,
I wish I would
just
have waited
for like every Friday for it to come out. It's like, damn.
Because I've done that with a few other things now, and I don't regret when I'm just gonna avoid news about it. I'm not gonna. Yeah. I'm just gonna sit out and wait, and then once the season's done, I'll just go through it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
TiVo.
A lot of stuff you get a heads up.
Free TiVo, yeah.
A lot of stuff you get a heads up on there, so it just all depends. So a lot of stuff you get a heads up on. That's all.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew that stuff was gonna be slow on
Tensura because VCR the right time.
A lot of it, that whole season's been built up. So
remember
finally
those
got
days?
to the part where they're dealing with all the demon lords and they're doing the Wapugi fight. So. And at that point, I started watching them. It would have been a nightmare if I waited every week because it would have sucked. There were some episodes and nothing literally happened. They just talked. So it's good. It's just good. You want to go to the next episode, but you can't if you watch them every week. That's all it's doing is building it up. You just wanted to go to the next one to find out what happens next. It just sucks waiting a week. So.
Are they worthwhile, or is it just like
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, when I would watch Game of Thrones, people would be like, there was no action, it was just people talking. I'm like, these are the best ones. You're building the lore and everything.
Yes. That'll work. Next week?
Right. Yeah,
the week after next
week, yeah. I was about to say, it's
weekly serials.
Next, right?
Alright, y'all ready?
We'll be here next week.
Skype. Did we decide we're gonna skip? We're gonna skip next week. Is that the consensus? Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, week after next. Yeah, I have two.
Yeah.
I have 2 ball games next week.
I don't know. Did I?
Thursday or Monday and Thursday. It's gonna be brutal.
If it's wrong, you can always you always get the option to have your fun edit in there.
175. That's right.
Episode.
You updated it, Brain. Okay. I don't doubt you. It's just. Well, after I edit, when I go back and I see the next one, I'm like,
oh, I can't stand that crap.
It's just my brain.
I don't know.
What are we talking about?
176. 176er. Or that stupid voiceover that all the TikTok and all those. My boyfriend, dude, where did it come from? Like, why is it such a thing all of a sudden? It's like, God, it's annoying as shit. Whatever content you were about to show me, it'll be like a default voice for a video or a clip or something like that. And it's just, I plugged in my game system, and it, all of a sudden, it's this robotic, chirpy, you'll know it when you hear it. It's just annoying.
Yes. I was doing long hours of work this week, so.
Brent's not going to find him. All right, let's go live. Y'all ready? You're ready to record? We're already live. We have...
let's see.
Thank you, too, for this Friday night extravaganza. We all were. This was a worthy pushback. I don't mind the Friday night this week.
Let's see if I can.
The fact that TikTok made a text-to-speech effect but didn't program it to say 5 correctly is so funny. Why is she saying 5 when it's
I never heard this
time
before in my life. What is this?
If you got something to add. Right?
It's their text-to-speech. It's that text-to-speech thing that, yeah, everything. People post all those like clip videos and stuff, and it's just everywhere.
It's awful. It's all over any social media
That's the first time in my life I've ever heard that. Garbage. So I probably will never hear it again. So outside of unless you just.
And I'm not even a TikToker. It just bleeds into everything else.
Most of my time is I watch VTuber stuff. So I mean I haven't been exposed to anything like that. So. Oh, from Pecoro.
Welcome to the nightmare. We
Pecoro. Pecco.
Until Brent plays it for you again. Yeah, we heard that grating nature that it was. Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 175 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Big news tonight. Alan Wake is being remastered. It was announced. We saw gameplay. That's 2 different stories. A big brain for Switch, ? Path to victory for Horizon Forbidden West becomes easier, and I think the follow-up to that is also other PlayStation titles. Sonic Colors Ultimate Glitch Edition. No question mark. We have your September Game Pass and PlayStation Now titles. Some pretty good games.
The showcase was yesterday.
And the PlayStation Showcase was
This is a special Friday edition.
We were recording a little bit later this week due to some scheduling conflicts, but that gave us a chance to get to the PlayStation Showcase news as well. So we have that for you. I am Richard Bergman, of course, joined tonight by Brent McKee. It feels like
I'm here in Hopefully the camera
like today in my
got
brain,
my Swiffer box in the background, so I can get that.
I guess the promotional advertising today. I finished watching it today. I'll add that. I started it on the road, and then I finished watching it today. Also joining myself and Brandon McKee is Cesar Concepcion II.
I don't know, man. It's Demon Slayer stuff all over the place and some ReZero stuff, so sure.
They're already a sponsor. We're already pushing the pet-friendly ones, or actually the pet-specific ones for the wet mops.
Everything's more expensive, sir.
Is there anything else you want to push?
Yeah, there's before we get into it, there's a real bad manga shortage right now. It's really, really bad. Like
there's a lot of Demon Slayer.
It's like people have stopped buying books physically, but manga has not seen a decrease at all. It's actually seen an increase. It's the only one of the few things that actually seen an increase out worldwide. So it's like it's bad enough where Viz is telling people like, hey, go ahead and order stuff. I got Chainsaw Man. I ordered the manga for it when it was on sale for $5 off Right Stuff. I think I ordered it 4 months ago and it's still on back order. They just told people, hey, put your orders in, and whatever has the most demand, they're going to print first. They said they can't print everything. There's a real bad shortage right now in manga. They can't keep it stocked.
Damn.
It's a Shonen Jump manga. It's one of their mature ones, but I won't get into it. You have to read it. It's good. It's really, really good. The anime comes out later on this year.
Adult content related to
it's a lot of
I don't know what the character
is
in
there,
that the person is specifically paying homage to. Oh.
They're typically normally like $10, I think.
Walmart had Demon Slayer. Oh. Walmart had Demon Slayer 1, 2, and 3, My Hero Academia, a couple of those, and then one other series. I don't think I picked that one up to look at. But they were like $7.50 a piece. Is that the new going rate? Okay.
3.
So that's how we used to go on manga runs that were like buy two get one every time. That's just what I was thinking of.
Steins Gate Zero. This one just came out.
We used to troop all over freaking Middle Georgia.
And you have this one, Super Inappropriate Shonen Jump 1. It's 2 volumes. It's $20 is what you get.
How many volumes comes in that one?
And then for the Demon Slayer, this one is $10.
And that is what for the audio listeners?
And that's what you get. This one. And this is the final volume of Demon Slayer. It's only 23 volumes. Yeah, it's done. So, the funny thing is, there's one called Fly Me to the Moon. And I got this one from Japan.
Is one volume?
I love this cover.
Just one?
Oh, you freaking knew
That's
it, too.
It?
I had to stop myself from singing it. Yeah.
So I love this thing because when they posted the book online, everybody knows it as that. It's like a slice of life romance type thing. And I waited because I knew it was going to happen. And when they posted that one up there where her cover was blood and the samurai sword, everybody's like, what the fuck is happening with this show, with this manga?
Yeah, I was watching you.
Because she's actually the Tsukihime. She's a moon princess, and she's been around for hundreds of years. Yes, you go through that show, you find out she's been around for like hundreds and hundreds of years. And the whole premise is that there's a kid who's, I won't go too far into it. There's a kid named NASA. The parents call him NASA because they wanted him to reach for the stars, basically. And she saves him. She jumps in and saves him from a bus killing him. And then he asked her out on a date, and she said only if they can get married. And he agreed. And she just disappears for 3 years. And then she randomly shows up at his front door 3 years later when he graduates high school. And then they go and get married. And so he's they end up moving together, and like they're kind of like finding each other as how they interact with each other and everything, how their differences. And so as he goes through it, she's pretty funny because she doesn't care for like history and stuff like that because she's lived it. So like she's big in movies like Terminator and Star Wars, and she cares about pop culture. She plays video games. She freaked out about a Mega Drive. So it's like it was funny because when she went over when they moved into somebody's house and they found all these gaming stuff in there, she looked at it, she's like, there's some real treasures in here, and she just starts pulling stuff out, like a bunch of video game stuff, and start playing that. But like he's big on like architectural stuff and all that stuff. So when they go to meet his parents, it's funny because like his dads are archaeologists. And he's like trying to decipher this letter, And she just looks at it and she laughs and she's like, because they don't know what it says, and she's like, she knows what it says. She's like, I think she's like, she made this comment to herself. I think it's funny that you're trying to decipher a love letter somebody wrote and make it into this big thing. And he's like, what do you say? She's like, nothing. Don't worry about it. So, yeah. He's like, he's thinking some kind of historical document is going to be about something. She's like, all it is a love letter from like 600 years ago. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good show, man. Like, I don't think he knows yet what she is. So, fly me. I forgot because I would.
No real historical context. That's funny. Right, some like New Age Rosetta Stone. Yeah.
He just came. Oda just came out and said that they're in the final.
What's that one for listeners?
Finishing. So I think within the next about 20 years, more than that. Yeah, within the next year, I think it says
I found a bunch
in the
of
final
One Piece
art
manga.
and the
What
finish
is One
line.
Piece up to now?
They just printed in the new Shonen Jump manga last week, I think.
Oh,
when he made his comments in the final arc. So.
We'll get a questionable Netflix adaptation
after
eventually.
How many years?
I was just laughing because somebody on Twitter was like, all that's gonna happen is they're gonna try to kill Luffy and they're gonna like out. He said, I gave all my One Piece treasure to Zoro, and they're never gonna find it because Zoro's always lost. That was a joke. I gave all my treasure to Zoro. Yeah. Because they're always like, Zoro's always like, all right, got to go to the left, and then he turns right, and it's like they never find shit. Oh god.
That would check out, right? That would be an appropriate finish. Always looking in the wrong direction. Well, we looked in the correct direction and we found Alan Wake Remaster, which is coming to PlayStation, Xbox, and PC. This story comes from Sam Byford at The Verge. Remedy Entertainment's 2010 cult classic Alan Wake is getting remaster version for multiple platforms. Epic Games publishing arm will release Alan Wake Remaster across PS4, PS5, Xbox Series consoles, and the Xbox Game Store on PC. Epic says the remaster will feature all new rendered 4K visuals. They eventually showed off a little bit of game footage and screenshots from that. Commentary from writer and creative director Sam Lake, and the expansions The Signal and The Rider. Pulp horror influenced spin-off Alan Wake's American Nightmare doesn't appear to be included. Oh, I hadn't seen that before. That's interesting. But they did show some clips of this and some screenshots.
360, I played the shit out of it and beat it.
Upgrade. People have been clamoring for this for a while. I think I started it on PC, it's been about a year or so ago that I was talking about on the show. And I liked what I played of it. Cesar, you got me this, 10-something years ago?
Yeah.
It was your game of the year
this is the first time it's ever been on PlayStation, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I think we're all down for this remaster. Yep. This is one that everybody needs to play on these, not next-gen consoles, because it is available backwards compatibility, right? And it's out on PC still, but yeah. That too. That's how they let off the trailer. Yeah, I forgot about that. First time on PlayStation. So pretty cool. Next up, Nintendo announced Big Brain Academy. Brain versus Brain for the Switch, due out December 3rd. The commercial was very interesting. If you watch the ad that they launched with, has a lot of family members like not being able to sleep or study until they get their Big Brain Academy workout in. Some pretty cool cross features like, where is it? Go Brain versus Brain against Mind Masters near and far. Want to see how you match up to Brainiacs around the world? Hop on to Ghost Clash mode to compete against other users' data. Choose from mental marvels worldwide. Focus on your
always a good
friends
time.
List or family members who have profiles in the same system. And this is December 3rd for $29.99. It was a pretty inexpensive title. I was surprised by that. Definitely go check out that trailer. Do you guys enjoy the Big Brain Academy series of titles? Yeah. I got big into Brain Age, like the first one, I guess, of these. And I know they sold
it's
that one. And
kind of like that. It's similar to that.
I haven't really messed with them. They're like, you get quick math problems and logic puzzles. And
gosh,
things like
it's been a minute since
does it do like I haven't played one of the big Brain
Academies, but this is it's like brain versus brain. So
and you have to
I'm guessing
try to make
you'll be able to pit yourself
or...
against a computer or family member or something like that. Add like a little competitive edge. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this. One of the modes I showed had the Switch like turned sideways. Like we could share the same screen and do whatever competition or whatever puzzle it was on the same screen using each end of our controller.
I just want more powerful hardware so I can play games better.
Seems like Nintendo's kind of branching into that blue ocean strategy again with the Switch. It's like, we got these consoles out there.
I guess. I don't know. I've just been playing mostly third parties.
Right? Well, we got Virtual Console. I'm the guy that's sticking to that.
I think the last...
That too, because even the first party ones are starting to tap out now, aren't they?
Play that Need for Speed one, the one that they try to cancel.
That's the thing it's getting too. Is that what third-party titles are you playing on there that seem to lag or be slow?
Monster Hunter Stories does not play that well.
Besides your $12 Need for Speed?
No. There's some slowdown on there. I know a lot of people prefer to play the PC version.
It's good. It's solid. It's not a bad game.
That's the only one I can think of that I've played recently. I'm trying to see.
Yeah, that Age of Calamity. Well. It gets down in single digits sometimes if there's too much going on. Forget if you're doing split screen and you both throw your like super moves.
That newest Hyrule Warriors didn't run all that great, did it?
It's jarring. It's bad. It's real bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and the other one that everybody's talking about is the Sonic Colors. Plays like shit on the Switch too.
Really? It's that bad? Yeah, but they were pulling off those type moves on like PS2 and stuff, right? Why is it bottlenecked here on Switch?
Mm-hmm.
It seems like a bad port job, though.
The emulation on it was like shit. So
I know that port
I was about to say, if we
want to Switch, but I don't know that's
come back to the Horizon story. We can just jump straight to the
final Wii
Sonic Colors story.
But that was the only one I saw. The Digital Foundry video. That's the only one that does 30 frames per second on consoles.
This one I've been playing. This one, even this is a PS2 game that we never got over here. This came out over there in Japan from Atlas and Sega. And this one struggles. And this is a PS2 game. Kowloon High School Chronicle.
Yeah, go to the Sonic one. Fill in those.
It's like a first person. It's not really graphically heavy game. It's like a first person dungeon explorer type thing. When I got out of the pyramid, it was like the old guy in the wheelchair, kind of like a.
What is that for our audio listeners?
Like toss me the tablet thing, and I'll let you out of the pyramid. That's where I stopped at.
Intensive.
But Sonic. Going back to Sonic Colors, like you said, Cesar, this game's got a lot of issues at the moment. Besides the fact that it's running questionably on Switch, it's got a lot of glitches. And these videos were popping up all over Twitter over the weekend because you could pay, what was it, like $5 extra to get the game early digitally. And people were, and you have to realize some people were playing it on a Switch emulator, but a lot of people were playing it on the hardware as well, and experiencing these extremely crazy glitches where the screen would basically go black and just have these flashes of all different colors all over, these different colored bars and things come across. The specific let's see. The specific article is from Nintendo Life, and they've got one video on here, but I've seen some much crazier videos with this. Yeah, yeah. And some of these, some of the glitches are really funny. The other ones, it's like, that, you know, and the bad thing is if you got to worry about people that have epilepsy, if they start playing this game and have one of these unexpected glitches, they could have a seizure or something. And I mean, they Blind Squirrel Games, which worked on this port, they have acknowledged it, as well as Katie, and she's part of the Seika team, and they've acknowledged that they're working on the issue. So
damn, that last update was 5
yeah,
years
I mean,
ago. We appreciate all the feedback we've received about Sonic Colors so far. We're listening and preparing a patch for release.
Majority of people that play it
on any issues with Sonic Colors
your Xbox or your PS5,
then they have a link.
It's rarer to get those issues. It seems to be
maybe stay away from this one for a little while.
And it could be a bad port. It could be hardware limitations, but I doubt that, because we've seen other Wii games run on the Switch fine. So, but also, I mean, it's.
Yeah, I'm not going to digress. I'm not a game developer, so
yeah.
I've played it on PS4. I have it on PS4. I probably put about like 4 hours into it. I haven't had any issues with it.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Outside of the FMVs look like butthole, but yeah. It looks like it definitely was 480p FMV. So when you go from the graphics and going to the motion video, it's noticeable. So
yeah,
no issues. Yeah. Yeah.
What I played.
That's what I saw on Digital Foundry. They were like, "Hey, these are the Wii videos." Yeah, they ran them through an AI upscaler.
You see those videos, but outside of that, everything runs smooth on the PS4. And I imagine it's probably the same thing on the Xbox.
What they can do with that.
What's odd is the loading times, because I saw a comparison with the loading times where the Wii original hardware, it was like something around like 3 to 5 depending, and then on PS4 it was like 1 and some change, and then you went to the Switch and it was like almost 15 seconds or something like that. Yeah, it was like, that's ridiculous. You're talking 3 times,
like 3 seconds,
from Wii hardware to Switch. That's it's either, like we said, it could be a something weird in the port, or it just maybe it's hardware limitations.
I think I saw. Yeah, I think I saw 16 or 18.
Said it before. We're not developers. We're not. Shit. We don't code video games. We don't know nothing. So nope.
Yeah.
I was about to say, that might be the better option.
I'm looking at my sealed Wii version, so
I have.
No.
Can't speak to it. I have the Wii version of this still, and I've never played this, so I might stick with that one until it's more of a budget. Yeah, Yep. Sealed Wii version. So that's our extra set on his definitive copy. I don't know. It seems like the next gen consoles is the way to go with it. It does seem like a worthy upgrade, especially with double the frame rate. But if you still have the Wii copy, it is that seems to be a decent way to play it still. Especially over the Switch one. Or like original hardware, like PS4.
Yeah, so
one hardware.
Not too long ago, this is from The Verge, Tom Warren. Sony had came out when they announced their different versions of
to the Horizon
Forbidden West.
The 20 different versions.
We kind of touched on this last week. Path to Victory, so that's our flesh out
too long ago.
Path to Victory for us.
No.
So they came back and said that in this edition that the PS4 one would not automatically upgrade to the PS5 version. You can play the PS4 one in your PS5, but it would be exclusively that version. Then there was a lot of hoopla back and forth, rightfully so, because I mean, somebody had tweeted something earlier from the year where they said that was going to be a free upgrade game, and they kind of like try to be sly and put it on there because they never promised any more, but this was the last one in that, the one that they promised. So, and we know what they're trying to do is they're trying to do that next gen pricing, and that's why they're doing the separation for the cost. So they came back and they said that, all right, the upgrade for this one's going to be free.
Right.
Then they said any further cross-gen titles will be a $10 digital upgrade option going forward. So basically, you're going to pay that $69.99 price tag at this point.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which we're kind of been doing now because what was it? That price for Ghost of Tsushima, there was a price lock to that, and then you have Death Stranding has a $10 price. So I think it's just that's
just
standard.
Kind of what we remember doing from PS3 to PS4, like a bunch of those early launch titles.
It is what it is. I mean,
like, hey, pop your disc.
It just looks real bad when you have the competition.
I did that with Battlefield.
Smart delivery, so it's different. But Microsoft put in the work from the last gen. We had this conversation where they stopped doing backwards compatibility so they can do this for this reason. They knew ahead of time that they were going to tackle this. So this was something they've been working on for years, and they made it a lot easier. This one doesn't seem as easy, apparently. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And smart delivery, let's clarify, it's straightforwardish specifically for their titles, but there's still some wonky shit with like Call of Duties and third-party things, Ubisoft titles with them. They still have some weird shit too, so it's not a complete pass for them. But as far as their first-party stuff, like especially with Game Pass, I'm guaranteed to get the best Master Chief Collection version, whatever comes out. I'm guaranteed to get that. So it's cool knowing that just through Game Pass or through the digital copy that I have, that it's going to be continuously upgraded, and I'll get those assets and everything as they continue forward.
Yeah,
but it's good to know that
you got to get out of this
outcry.
Weird,
we're always pointing out the vocal part of the internet, whether it's good or bad. But
which we won't.
It seemed like they listened to this one, so they set a standard for their first-party titles going forward that it will be that $10 upgrade path, and we don't have to.
Horizon, maybe we don't have these stories. God of War, and
every week.
Yeah. That's a PS4 also title. Yeah. So I think they at that point I think they already clarified that those games that they announced recently are gonna be PS5 only.
Gran
so like Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine at that point. But those are looking at what 2023 probably. So I mean I think we're gonna have one more year of this probably.
Yeah, they can't leave that 100.
By then you would imagine they would have at least.
I wouldn't either.
25 million consoles out by then, so at that point they can start leaving that stuff behind.
Yeah.
No, I haven't been.
Promise you've been in more stores than I've ever been in. In the last year, I walk into, and I'm not going to stay here forever on this conversation. I walk into a Kroger to buy food.
Seen PS4s out and about again?
To buy food. I walk into a Walmart into the food section, and then sometimes in the clothes section, and then walk straight out. I don't go in electronics at all. So
crazy.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's fair. Good place to avoid unless you want to go into Walmart and get that free gaming magazine that comes with a Skyward Sword poster. Brent, people are selling those on eBay for like $10. I just want to throw it out there. I saw it today. People are free. We can't have anything. That's all that proves. Can't have anything nice. People are putting the free shit up online. I know, right?
Yeah, it was a little bit.
That's not good. All right.
awkward. It was because it was you could pay the $19 to upgrade your PS4 copy to the director's cut. And
Ghost of Tsushima.
It was like $10 or something to just do the PS5 upgrade. So it was
weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Extended cut.
Extended cut. There you go.
Yeah. Death Stranding did it right, man. I was kind of surprised by that one. It was like $10 gets you that director's cut that Kojima doesn't want to call a director's cut. Extended cut. Keeley cut. Coming up to Xbox Game Pass this month, you're going to get Craftopia, Breath Edge, Signs of the Sojourner, Surgeon Simulator 2, access all areas. Final Fantasy 13, I think that's the biggest one. Crown Trick, Nuclear Throne, and The Artful Escape. So more Final Fantasy games are coming to Game Pass Ultimate. That is for console and PC.
It's if you played.
Interesting thing with that, I don't see in the news, but that is like
the Steam one
that is like a
garbage.
New port, that PC one specifically.
If you played this one that's part of Game Pass, you get this directly from the Microsoft Store. It's 9 day. The Steam one has not been updated yet.
So it's a whole different build than the console.
They will probably eventually because I know when they did this for Nier and they put it on the Microsoft Store, they went back and updated the Steam one because it was notoriously bad. The Steam one was garbage because I think there was a lot of VTubers who were playing the Steam one. It was crashing all over the place and they were having issues running the game.
Really?
And so I know one of them that I watched.
They might not apply that
bought the game for the fourth time just so she could finish the series. She was tired of buying the game because it kept crashing. So when they came out with the one for the Windows Store, she's like, "Hopefully this will be the last one I bought." She never waited for the Steam one to get updated because they never gave a final date. So. The Windows Store one premiered with the best version because it was never originally on there. They made the Windows Store version for Game Pass. So when you do Game Pass, obviously has to be through the Windows Store. It's not through any other launcher. So
if you bought the Windows Store one, that one updated through Game Pass Ultimate, that is the virtual version?
I got a 2 terabyte in mine now. I just did I bought a Samsung stick, and they give you free cloning software, and I just cloned the drive and just popped it in there, and it took me literally 15 minutes.
Because we have this, I don't know if you upgraded your SSD.
I'm looking at,
that shit's
right now I'm looking at,
it's like 128 gig.
Dropping the Polymega whenever they ship that out.
Oh, you're good.
So I've followed somebody on Twitter, and I think they bought a 8 terabyte one that works in there. So he said he's going to put every game he owns on there, so he just ended up paying the $800 for the 8 terabyte one. So
I need to do the same thing then.
It was normally $1,200. He got it for $400 off somehow. He waited and got a sale on it. He said he's been sitting on it for a year. Like he's bought that one. That was like the best price you can get an 8 terabyte M.2. I've never seen one out in the wild ever. I think the only place I see him you can order them was on Amazon. But it's a legit one. It's a legit one. So and it works. It works for that
$800.
Yeah.
From what I said, from what I've seen online with the people with the beta, they said the 1 terabyte is the least recommended, and they were almost able to fit every PlayStation 1 game on there. So I believe. Yeah.
I can't jump on that, but let me know which one you end up getting.
I'm looking at it. I might fuck around and get a 4 terabyte. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see, because I got the one with all the modules, so.
Ooh. That's not a bad goal to achieve. It's a lot of PlayStation 1 games.
Yeah.
I just trimmed mine down a little bit.
I normally shave mine at the gym, and I went to the other gym today, so. Not the one that works is the one I shave at. The other one I try to get the hell out.
It is the perfect evolution of beard.
But isn't the Polymega supposed to be the 12th? I thought I saw something on Twitter.
They started shipping the notifications today. I didn't get one yet. They said that they're not gonna complete shipping of everything until the end of October. So they said it's gonna be within that time frame from today to October at some point. Naturally, I'll probably be getting my shipping stuff when I'm out of town because that's usually how it works for me. So yeah.
And it'll get left at your neighbor's house.
I will have to find somebody
along with all your anime games.
I'm hoping Renee will be back in town to make sure he gets it. Or I have to find somebody to swing by and get it. I'll figure it out. So I don't know.
Hey man, both of us.
I don't know.
Always.
I don't know, man.
All right, I'm actually looking at the beards. I think, Brent, are you the number 3? Am I number 1?
I will come in here with no facial hair once I start growing white hair.
So where you at?
You know, number 2. You'll see me at that point. You'll see me when I'm a straight bald and like the main character from Powder. Then you know, like, he found a gray hair.
This is part of our content. This is our community.
That as well.
Right, the beards.
At that point, you know, all right, he found a gray hair. He's going all in. So far, so good.
You'll definitely be 0 then. You'll be at the bottom. You'll be at the bottom of the list.
That, or I can do a Brian Urlacher and figure out how he got hair to grow on his head. So.
Or the famous painting, The Scream. You're just
or the gentleman from IGN. Remember the dude who lost all that weight? Someone's like, "You lost all the weight and grew hair on your head." And he's like, "I'm not."
Burn it to the ground.
Whatever.
All right.
He did something too. So I was like, okay.
He did.
Yeah, that's what he's going with. Yeah, but you know something else happened. So that's not how it works. So
the plugs. Side effects of weight loss. I got my hair back.
So,
all the 2 people playing it.
Yeah.
So one of the big ones is going to be the Artful Escape, right? I know they've been heavily promoting that one in the last almost a year and a half.
Out on console and PC for those last 2. Spiritfarer has.
It was in that indie show. This is the one that has
Fallout 76 has an update.
Big talent tied to it too. Yeah, I was about to say, I remember Carl Weathers was in there, but it's okay, you play like the son of a famous musician, and you're trying to find your own way, make your own sound, and become this big folk musician, and go on this journey. So it looked visually really interesting.
It's one of those ones that, you know, because Xbox kind of went away in that last generation with their indie titles, and the Artful Escape, it looks like, if you watch the video, it looks like something that Sony or Nintendo would have gotten. Like, they actually went out and got this one because this one was like, this is something they would have got. It's unique and it's different. So, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a side scroller from what I remember from it, right? I know it goes left to right. There's some more. It's mostly musical, and there's a lot of stuff going on in that game. It's been a while since I've seen it because I hadn't watched the last couple ID
recording. So
shows.
Listen to this. Check out the
Xbox ID ones. So, but I know this. They've been.
I need to look at it too.
Heavily. I remember they were heavily
platformer
action adventure. When they first showed it, was, you know, like, oh yeah, that looks cool. You know.
Okay. I haven't either.
Good question.
What is the last kind of a hot take state of indies type thing? What is the last like indie game you guys played? Is there anything that you've really tuned into or really was a must play day one type deal with y'all? I've kind of gotten away, but again, the 3 of us have libraries to pull from. It's not like
probably
we are
Hollow Knight
paying attention to these shows and like honing in on each individual title and looking forward to that. We have a wide breadth of stuff to pull from, so I'm not going to say we're the perfect candidates for stuff like that, but at the same time, like,
indie. But yeah, I mean, it's got so much
Pedro
traction.
The last one I was really excited about, and I didn't even play that. I didn't even try that one out. So
whenever I'm telling you, whenever
like 2 years for me,
whenever we hear anything about Silk Song, it'll be in Nintendo's indies.
Like, that's not
when we hear about it, whenever they decide to show it again. Yeah.
Brand doesn't want to lose his cred because he fucked around and beat Hollow Knight, and he's like, Yeah, it's indie. I'm still hardcore. I haven't lost my way. I haven't sold out to the big labels.
Oh, real quick at the end of that article, leaving Game Pass September 13th.
Indie World Showcase instead of
Red Dead
Indies,
Online,
which they dropped.
Cloud and Console, and then September 15th.
All right,
Company of Heroes 2 for PC, Disgaea 4 PC, Forza Motorsport 7, Cloud Console PC.
Oh, always the flip side.
Hot Shot Racing, Cloud Console.
Leaving forever.
Ooh.
Yeah, delisted for forever. Yeah.
That's the biggest one.
It's...
Yeah, I still, and I'm going to make this point, but I heard it from another podcast, but this is your most recent Forza, like, simulation style game. This is the most recent one that you have to look back on and offer.
I mean,
and
Horizon goes away too, so.
You pull it from the store.
It's just something with that whole franchise.
To me. I don't understand it. It's like not being able to get the most recent Gran Turismo. If there was 2 different Gran Turismos, and you could not get the simulation style one, it just... I don't understand how that works.
No, those are all been
delisted. Pull that off and not,
I think they've been delisted.
Don't have something in its place. It does, but like what is your alternative? You have to track down a physical copy, or is Forza Motorsport 6 available on Game Pass or 5? Can you get those?
Who knows, man?
See,
I mean, you can either
how can you let
two
that
ways
happen
to do
it.
You can pull the title away, depending on whatever contracts you got out there, or you can start passing stuff out.
Gears and Forza,
and
right?
piss off a whole other group of people.
House of Xbox, that's all they have.
Damn if you do, damn if you don't.
And you are pulling those titles away from... I know people that still play Forza 7. That's bizarre.
Yeah.
No, I think you know it's coming, but this year is the Horizon year.
And again,
so
we're just talking
Horizon year twice.
We're just talking because they probably have the numbers where it's like 95% of people play the Horizon series.
I think they're planning Nate for next year, right around when Gran Turismo comes out. So
has that been announced or shown off or anything?
They're big ones, so.
I know. We're in the Horizon decade now.
Absolutely not, sir. The only great racing game is Ridge Racer, and we haven't got one in like 500 years. I love it.
See, that's the thing is you can boot those up and appreciate them unless you play with somebody that really knows what they're doing.
Outside of arcade style ones and fighting
you just
games.
get your ass handed to you, and it's like
and just appreciate.
This isn't fun. It's not fun anymore.
I do love Ridge Racer. I love Ridge Racer.
Oh.
You know what though? You know what? You touch on something, Brant. I can't appreciate it because the other day on ESPN2, I believe, they were playing Gran Turismo Sport. It was like a league, and I was glued to it. I was watching it like it was a legit sport. I'm like,
it's one of those things you got to
because I can appreciate people who are good
at it. It's the same thing like a fighting game. You know, like there's certain games. Each fighting game, I love fighting games. I love fighting games so much.
I can watch this competition and hear the feedback and the announcers and all that, and I can buy it. That's kind of an e-sport that I'm actually into.
I would say I own so many fighting games is ridiculous. I mean, that's probably like 20% of my collection is fighting games.
Yeah. I'm a button masher. I'm a button masher in every single one. I've never learned moves in anything. Same. I'm right there. I would love to appreciate Tekken and Mark of the Wolves and
so one of
Virtua Fighter and all these things. And I just, what is my main takeaway from that Virtua Fighter that we got for PS5? I boot it up and I go into that Virtua Fighter channel and I just watch.
I mean, mostly it's just when it clicks, man. There's certain games, fighting games that clicks with me and I get pretty good at, and there's some I did. It never sits well. It just all depends on the length of the combos and everything like that. Each game has its own flavor. It's different 2Ds versus different in 3D. You do 3D, you have that side step, and people use that pretty well. I'm a lot better in 2D fighters than I am in 3D. So, because I'll forget to use the sidestep, man. People just sit there. I'll do like a 6-hit combo, and they just like, whoa, and I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, and then it just throws everything off. And I was like, oh yeah, you can't sidestep. And you have to like, if you're good at it and you can kind of read what people are doing, you'll step with them and just continue the combo, man. If you get good at it, and it's just stuff like that. You just gotta wait till it clicks, man.
All right.
Yeah. They get you in Soul Calibur. They step to the side in Soul Calibur and get you with a sword or some shit.
Oh no.
All right, I started to laugh because it's borderline selfish of me, but my kids have been playing a lot of Genesis recently together, right? So I'm like, why don't you try out a fighting game? They're like, what's a fighting? Dad, what's a fighting? Dad, what's a fighting game? No, it's not there yet, Brant. I'm like, well, one of you's on one side, and you kick and you punch and you can throw and stuff like that, and the other of you is on the other side. You don't want to try that out because Genesis has some great fighting games. You've got early Virtua Fighter. You've got Street Fighter, good copies of Street Fighter. You got good copies of Mortal Kombat, and Eternal Champions. But we could throw some fighting games in there, and that didn't sound
for me,
like something they wanted to do.
The one that got me into fighting games was Killer Instinct. That was I've always dabbled in fighting games, but until when I started doing Killer Instinct and started doing like the King combos and Ultra,
it becomes the thing.
Doing the different finishers on there, man. I had a shit ton of fun with that game. So after that, I grew to appreciate fighters a lot.
Killer Instinct. Yeah. And so we played Tekken. My brother, myself, and my cousin. We would play Tekken 2 or 3. He had a PS1. So and we would just rotate out characters, and it was never
the whole cheating thing. Like you start throwing around the words, like the dirty words. You're cheating. Like I'm just playing the game. How am I cheating? I'm not
there were some aggravating rounds of Tekken that we had back and forth because like, fuck you! I can't beat you with pick a different character. You gotta beat me with that character.
Blood bowling in those games sometimes, man. So
you're using the same thing, but you can't beat that thing. So, Stop using that move. That move is bullshit.
I got the feeling that they'll start playing and they're like,
you got no answer for it, so you just get your ass handed to you.
Maybe later. I don't know, man. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, it does, and I don't want them to
see. Real quick to finish up.
It would still be fun too.
Last two on the list here, leaving Game Pass.
Yeah, maybe it's something I don't want to bring
Dark Crystal, Age of Resistance Tactics, and I
don't know because
it still
never clicked with me. So,
you got 5 days as of the recording of this. And Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. It's Witcher time.
That was a big get for anybody try that out? That was a big get for Game Pass. I never even downloaded it. Spoilers. It ain't happening, Brant. Know what I'm saying? It's always Witcher time. Oh, speaking of which, I was doing some PS5 like maintenance and updates and all that, and I was going through my storage. I'm like, why do I have all these clips? And I just went into like trophy pops, and it was a 3x3. It was like 9 solid screenshots of me unlocking stuff.
It's like a visual novel type asking.
I was like, holy shit. It's just like this Witcher shrine of.
I don't know. I don't know if it's that deep. I just remember it's 2D stills and.
Oh, I was laughing at that.
If I remember correctly, it's more of a visual novel type thing.
What is Thronebreaker? I never played that part. I never played that.
It's what sticks in my head.
Or anything. It's a Telltale type adventure game, right?
It's on Switch. It's on it. I mean, it doesn't take much to run the game. It's a single player component for the Gwent, The Witcher card game. Now, whether or not I don't,
and it's leaving Game Pass. What else is it available on? I'm assuming everything.
I don't know if it's exclusively about the cards or not. I know it's all told. I don't know. It's weird. You look at the photos for it. It's like it's isometric. There's a bunch of stuff going on with it. So
Oh, okay.
You know what? I don't even know. I think I own it. I just haven't played it, so I'll just leave it at that.
You skipped the PlayStation Now games for September.
I've heard of it before. I've just never dabbled in it or anything.
Real quick. So we're getting Tekken 7, Killing Floor 2.
All right. And yesterday we had a PlayStation showcase, a PlayStation
Pathfinder
Direct,
Kingmaker Definitive Edition, Moonlighter.
Go ahead, fill us in.
And Final Fantasy VII. They announced that. I don't know. It's some game. It's the final of the fantasies, but apparently there have been 6 other ones, and apparently there's even more after, because they announced that starting this month, for the next, is it 5 months? They're going to release
like January or something like that. January, February, I can't remember.
Yeah, it's through January. Final Fantasy 7 through like 13, I believe it was.
No, 13. 13 is not such a PlayStation console.
There it is, yeah.
Since 3.
7, 8, 9, 10, 10-2, and 12, yeah. 10 and 10-2 are together in December.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 12, if I remember right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Everyone has copies of this on every other available platform, right?
Yeah, that studio we got rid of, Japan Studios, we're gonna have a Japan Studio
month thing, but that is a good ad campaign. I wish they would do more series like this. Like, I think they would pull me in if it was like, hey, Ape Escape, we're gonna have an Ape Escape every month.
Yes, on to PlayStation
this month, and
showcase
then 2, and then
news.
So that would be something cool, right?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah, and then it's just an ad.
Bless Japan Studio.
It's like, well,
that was all the PlayStation Now news.
That was like 10 minutes wasted there.
Let's go on to the PlayStation Showcase, which opened up with a super long trailer for Play Has No Limits, their advertising campaign. I'm looking at it like, what is this? Is this PS5? What is this? Yeah. When you start seeing the... Yeah, I was pretty deep into it, but you start seeing the PlayStation symbols pop up, and it's like, something's going on here. They're probably going to break this up and release these as commercials throughout the next year or so. I like their Play Has No Limits ad campaign, except for people keep noting that you can't find.
I believe it's
PlayStation 5, so the Play does
either going to be I know it's
the first bombshell was the first game,
but it's either going to be like a PS5 exclusive, or
is remaking
I was going to say it could be possibly timed exclusive. We'll have to see.
This is the first time it'll be available on a PlayStation platform. That's the second time we said this episode.
Yeah, it's a limited time. There's arguments about how long it is. And there's no telling, because Sony has 7 was a year, and they got the other game that was coming up later. That's 2 years. They're all over the place. And
it is. I think it was
like a year.
I think it was 6 months at least.
I guess it all depends on. I think they're just trying to confirm how long that exclusive is going to be. So
yeah,
but it's only limited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you see the saber light up, and you get to see Darth Revan's helmet. So
and to note, we saw nothing of this except for kind of a voiceover by Jennifer Hale. Yeah,
I know it's been rumored for at least a few months, but for it to show up here was it's
funny. I was listening to it, and I heard the theme, and I'm like, is that Star Wars? What the hell is that? They're leading off the show with Star Wars. What can this be? So KOTOR remake was a pretty cool
they are in the Bracer group. Yeah, they're part of the Bracer.
Mm-hmm.
This is their first major project.
We just talked about Asper
on remake, because they did say that's gonna that team's mixed with some new people as well as some of the original developers from that game. So
because they're like long time They're long-time, like, Mac porters. They ported a bunch of shit to Mac back in the day. Like, well, Gearbox did Halo, but... That's an important note, yeah. People who know what this game's supposed to be. It'll be interesting to see because we don't get a lot of turn-based games anymore, and this was kind of a hybrid of that real-time and turn-based schema.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see if it's a remake like Final Fantasy VII remake or Resident Evil, 2 and 3
it's
remake, or if it's just
to me it was like a Bayonetta-esque game.
KOTOR with
like the crazy
textures and all that kind of
the
stuff,
crazy
so
flip and stuff. It looked like there was, to me at least, it looked like there was like a slow down mechanic at a few times with the dodging and stuff like that.
Next up, we saw Project
and like
Eve,
hack and slash,
really wicked and
but
cool.
with his, I was about to say with his. As
it
big
like
as
Bayonetta.
The world was, it kind of reminded me of like some of the aesthetic from the Nier games. But yeah, it looks good. It looks real good. Probably.
Tons of style. So much style to it.
What was it? Up? No.
It's a Korean studio.
It does. Project Eve. So I'm imagining that we'll get another title, and I'm sure it's not going to come to us as Project Eve.
Yeah,
who makes that?
It's a Korean studio called Shift Up.
There we go. Shift Up.
It wasn't a Square title, was it? I thought it was a Final Fantasy like 16 something, but then as I was watching it, I'm like, no, they said that was going to be medieval. Like we already saw a preview of that. It was going to be dragons and. Okay. Shift Up. Next up, we saw Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. That is, of course, a spinoff of the Borderlands series from Gearbox. With all of that humor and cell shading and everything else that makes that series what it is. It is coming out March 2022. Next up, we got a extended Forspoken story trailer and release window, which is
Fight your aliens now.
2022. Sure. This looked really good. It still continues to look good. Forspoken. From Square Enix and Luminous Production.
They really have.
All these are coming from PlayStation Lifestyle. I can't remember I think Brant mentioned that. We saw a little bit more of Rainbow Six Extraction. So if you're a Rainbow Six fan, check that out. Should be your cup. Yep. Should be your cup of tea. They hit a formula with that. I've never played. Mm-hmm. I've never played Siege, but I know people who tune into that and play it like I do Halo. So. That is something they have really turned into a thing. What a crazy pivot from what Siege originally launched.
Yeah, guys, they're making a Grand Theft Auto 5.
It was called Quarantine.
Can you believe it?
Into Extraction. Oof. Next up, we saw some gameplay of Alan Wake Remaster, which was announced earlier in the week. Looks really good. GTA 5.
Yeah.
It's the same one. Cesar and I were actually talking earlier today about there was somebody on Twitter that was just going off on this trailer when they watched it.
Can't let them keep getting away with
there's
this.
There's Michael and Franklin and whatever that guy's name is. They're doing the same. They're doing the same shit. And then every feature they showed off in the trailer, like.
Well, I mean,
people still
driving cars.
He's
like, we can do that on Xbox 360.
All right, they're like, all right, let's speed up 6.
Do that on
but
Xbox 360. Everything they were going.
They've lost that. I'm probably gonna say their name wrong, but the Hauser, the main writer, he left.
We had this on 360.
There's a new guard in there.
We can't allow this.
Probably whatever major changes you're gonna see now is probably gonna happen with this new guard. So.
Yeah.
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 I mean, but what do they have to do? Their moneymakers, GTA Online, which they also announced is coming with the delay.
I imagine it's going to be something different. Rockstar's been known to shake stuff up, so I mean,
But they're going to make their money off of that.
I think what Red Dead Redemption 2 was like. That was a mixed bag. Some people loved it, some people thought it was boring. That game, when I played it, I put like 4 hours into it, and it still didn't pull me in yet, because there's a lot going on. That world is something to be appreciative of, but it's like you have to be patient with that game. And, yeah. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good. I'm not saying it's a bad game. It just I didn't have. It's like I said last time. I took the game out of the consoles. Like I have to figure out a time to play this. It's something you have to sit there and like, all right, I'm going to sit there and play this exclusively and go through it. So
that intro is a long burn.
Don't get me wrong. I love westerns, man. I just got to have time to do it. I just want to put the time in there because I just lose patience and just start going in there and start fucking around. It's like, and then why do I keep on dying? It's like I'm not playing the way that the game is built to be played as. So
if it doesn't grab you, it doesn't grab you. That's how it goes sometimes. We saw some. Right. I've yet to buy that one or play it on Game Pass or anything like that, so I'm kind of waiting for the next gen version of that. I think it'll be here before too long. Next up, we saw Ghostwire Tokyo. Continues to look good. Cesar and I talked about this as well. Kind of don't want to see any more of this. Let's just go into it blind. I think all three of us on this show at least are sold on. Let's check this out. It's kind of had a reboot.
Yeah, I didn't watch this part either because between me and you, I was doing
director since she left, but
job-related stuff. So there's some parts of the screen when I was like,
I
can
not
pay
attention
anymore. So I was like, and I walked away from that one because I mean I'm interested in
next
playing
up we saw
it, but
Guardians
I kind of just want to play it instead of them feed me everything.
This part.
So this is what they've done instead of doing another Deus Ex or Tomb Raider. So
yeah,
this is what they're like. You have this license and do this. Don't screw it up like Avengers.
It says it's coming from Eidos. Is this a Crystal Dynamics joint? Is this their follow-up to
Spider-Man's coming eventually, finally, though.
That sucks, man. It's that grind stuff in that game. I like the game. The story was great. I enjoyed the hell of it, but it's like you have to grind. The story's really, really, really fucking good, and people miss out on it because it's just the grind in that game.
It's still coming out. I think they're supporting it. It's just the Black Panther DLC and all that stuff.
It takes forever to level up, and it adds a link to the game. You just have to. You're constantly grinding. It's like, that's basically what it is. It's like a more padded
story was really good.
It was like Destiny 2, which is already kind of padded as it is. So for people enjoy that. I just haven't met that person that enjoyed it yet. But I'll be happy to shake their hand when they come up and like, I like this shit, and then I'll apologize. I'm like, all right, you know what?
Artificially padding.
That's fine. The story's fucking great, man. I would tell people to play for the single player campaign. If it's $10 somewhere, grab it.
Yeah, I saw it for $20 the last time it came across, and I was like, it still seems too pricey.
It is. The story campaign with Miss Marvel is really, really, really good, and I really, really liked her character. It was really well done. Yeah, and then
it's been cheap.
Now I can't. Maybe I should pop it in there and try to figure out how to do the Path to Victory on that Nightmare Fuel one right there, and maybe play the Black Panther one because that was free. It was included in the update.
Of what it was promised to be or what
I just never
tried to flesh it out to be. But
after reading online like all the bullshit they had to do to get the PS5 version, I was like, do I just wait till it's $20 on PS5 and just buy the disc and not fuck around with the PS4 one and just save myself the headache? Yeah, the way they tricked me into spending more money into the game. I don't know. We'll see. At some point, I got so many games with free upgrades. I need to throw them in there and get them before somebody goes like, "All right, we'll stop doing this. You can't get them anymore," and they just shoot the birds at me. It's like
the unsmart delivery.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I thought of when I saw this? That's gonna be one of our free PS5 games for PlayStation
before they
Plus.
Close your Path to Victory.
Yeah.
Next up, we had Blood Hunt coming to PS5.
For
that
sure.
is Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah,
Blood Hunt.
Vampire the Masquerade is a huge game. When I worked in retail many years back, I had a coworker who was like big in that game, and he would like freaking cosplay.
You think
and like they do a LARP in that game. And I'm like, I never.
Oh my gosh!
I was like, okay. So, I mean, I don't think the original people who developed that game are still doing it. I think the studio, they've handed off to whoever owns that license now.
Yeah.
So they haven't yet to put anything out outside of maybe that visual novel that came out on the Switch, or what I forgot what's called. It's something similar to it. That's the only thing they've done with that license. So the second game, which they keep redoing and changing developers and pushing back, I mean, they haven't actually come up to a part where they actually done anything with this license they own. So it's like the new Stalker. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got what hopefully the final Deathloop trailer. I mean, this.
I'm sure they'll have it like right before it launches. The Deathloop launch trailer. It's like, guys, how many more times are you going to show off this game?
Well, we know, Sony, before Bethesda got bought out, they were having issues, and they said this before, that they're either going to split up or get bought out. It was happening. So Sony came to them and they paid for Ghostwire and they paid for Deathloop. So and they helped fund those games. So I'm assuming they're handling the marketing, and I've told this to Richard. So that's why I told him I don't want to see Ghostwire anymore, but we know we're going to see, like, every time Sony does something, Ghostwire is going to be on there because they paid for that advertising. It's part of whatever their deal is. So hopefully the final time on Deathloop. I mean, when does that game come out? I'm counting the days the game comes out so I can stop fucking seeing the advertisements for it.
Trying to remember, it's soon.
It's in the next couple days. It's literally, it's like 15 days or something like that. This is why they did the whole start from the beginning, and like, this is what we show them for the whole year. Like, we haven't even showed other Sony titles once, but you've gotten Deathloop once every quarter.
Is it even this year?
But, yeah. Next up we have Radiohead's Kid.
This month.
Looks like Amnesia exhibition comes to PS5.
Kid Amnesia.
I don't know. It's some kind of. It's a Radiohead thing.
Yeah, Kid A is one of their albums.
Yeah.
So. And
this is a collaboration between Radiohead and Epic Games. They're collaborating to bring a Kid A exhibition to PS5. I guess they're celebrating their early 2000 album. I guess we don't know what's going to happen with that, right? I'm assuming it's going to be interactive. Yeah. I'm thinking like D2, kind of like that old PS3 game where it had like music that kind of artsy style and manipulates it. I'm in and out on some of these, so if anybody wants to add stuff in there, that's great. Next came up is the Bright Island Adventure trailer.
Yeah.
This is a French game, so I don't know how to pronounce the ch in French.
It's a French game, but it looked like this is the one that it like takes place. It looks kind of like that Hawaiian setting. It's it
looks like
Tachia.
It looks like a Nickelodeon show, or Disney Junior show, but
it's very brightly colored.
I don't know. I didn't watch this part, so I can't really go on it. And I apologize, Brent. I didn't interrupt you. You were describing what was in the trailer. Go right ahead.
No. I mean, it's brightly colored. I mean, they showed the girl, and you were
like a ukulele.
You could ukulele, and you could choose what chord to play.
Like a flash game, like a 3D flash game.
It actually looked kind of interesting. So, I mean, this will be a one to kind of keep your eye on. I'd like to see a little bit more of it.
And don't be me. Don't buy the game just to learn how to play the Song of Storms on the ukulele and be like, okay, this was fun, and then just turn off the game at that point. This is all I wanted to do with this game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure that wasn't Max Payne?
They showed some cool clips with the character like jumping around and then kind of going into like a bullet time slow motion thing and switching between animals. So they were a gull. Back to Remedy. Max Payne bullet time animal style. But the character would like jump as a gull and then switch into the human form and then like slowly descend, and then they switch to like a fox or a raccoon or something, like a four-legged thing, or a dog. I guess it was a dog, and they started running.
I mean,
around.
It looks interesting, so we'll see more.
It kind of reminded me of that the Michel Ancel, the canceled Wild game from Ubisoft.
Probably another Shuhei get and
stuff.
That's my guess.
I don't think the like.
Next up was Uncharted Legacy of Thieves Collections coming to PS5 and PC. Early 2022. And this is the games that Richard has not played yet.
This was kind of the indie.
This is Uncharted the Richard collection.
Here's the thing, though, Richard. If you boot up
under the Richard collection, that way when I want to pull it out, I was like, oh, I know that's the reason why.
But here's the thing, Richard. If you pull up on your PS5 now and you pull out the
I'm very pleased.
PS Plus collection,
I've yet to play both
Uncharted
of these.
Among Thieves, I believe, is already in there for free.
Yeah, but you don't get to pay more money for the upgraded graphics.
I know.
So
you can play it now.
Same thing. You just can upgraded graphics and probably haptic feedback, all the features on the PS5 probably. I think so too. I'm going to go back through it again on both. I mean, Lost Legacy is a really, really fucking good game. It's probably up there with me on Uncharted 2. It doesn't beat Uncharted 2, but it's close. It's really, really good.
Is that the same thing?
It's a good one. To me, Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 4 are
it's worth it. I love these games.
The games.
3 was good.
3 was good, but
I heard this one of the best
2
ones.
and 4 are
man, you have to follow the masterpiece. You know how hard it is to follow a masterpiece and nail it.
Yeah.
Man? Can we name any of those games? Other than a Mario game, probably. Even then, some people would debate me on that. They're probably like, I didn't like Odyssey or something like that. Some people don't like Odyssey.
Same.
Odyssey was shit. Really? It's pretty good. I liked it.
Some people.
It's true.
I love.
To me, it was.
Yeah.
To me, it was a return to form. It felt kind of like it had that 64 vibe to it.
There's a legit area where
I wasn't a huge fan. I never finished Odyssey.
Yeah.
I wasn't a huge fan.
There's a legit area with the 64 stars and stuff like that. It was like a nice throwback. You had to get really, really good. I was like, you even played the dun 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 when you get the stuff in there. Yeah.
Oh, it's a fantastic game. That is an incredible. It is a masterpiece.
But what's another one? What's another one?
I'll say it's an incredible game.
Ocarina of Time, and then what was after? A lot of people didn't like Majora's Mask, so
yeah.
It's hard to follow masterpieces.
I didn't get there.
I'm sorry. I don't want to argue.
We got into the PlayStation Studios part of the show now.
Yeah, I think what was it? Was it Herman Hulse?
All right, so that
came out and said that at this point everything would be from the Eternal Studios.
Yeah.
He came there and said his piece.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And God of War, yeah. But they showed a little clip of a new Insomniac game. You saw Insomniac in the Marvel title, and showed a man sitting at a bar,
PS5, right?
surrounded by a bunch of other men that are already knocked out all around, just littered throughout the bar. And then some guy gets up, pulls out a knife, and the guy's just sitting there at the bar, and then he clenches his fist and the claws come out. I lost my mind because I'm sitting there and I'm watching this. I'm like, Marvel, what could this be? What could this be? I'm like, no, Logan. And like as soon as he clenches his fist and the claws come out, I lost it. My kid come out of his room. He's like, what happened? What happened? I'm like, there's gonna be a Wolverine game. So.
What a reveal!
Yeah, the guy.
What a reveal!
It's Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Yes, Wolverine. By the guys that made Spyro and Spider-Man more recently, and Resistance. Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Only Jameson's in there saying Wolverine
and
like
then
that.
Next, they kind of.
Oh, what a reveal!
I didn't know it was going to be Gran Turismo.
Game graphics, it's nothing related.
Got me
to the
first
game.
because of the music.
And,
the music started out and it sounded
incredible.
It's like this very like odd kind of classical eerie music. I'm like, first thing that came to my mind was like Castlevania, and then I started seeing like the car outlines and the reflection. I'm like, oh no, it's Gran Turismo. So and then it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could get that. Yeah. And then they like change the music. It does. It looks really, really good.
I was hearing that. I I was putting together like Wipeout. I was like, man, we're getting a new Wipeout. That's what I was hearing in the background. I was like, oh shit. Yeah, and then that Gran Turismo logo kind of spun into focus. That looks good as hell. Yeah. And they are such graphical powerhouses. I'm really hoping that PS5 version is like head and shoulders above, or not gimped by the PS4 version. I think this is the only one I'm invested in. Like, and again, I talked earlier on the show about I'm not great at simulation racing games, but I can appreciate
every
them.
year we get excited about a Gran Turismo. We all buy in,
pure,
and we put in a grand total between all of us like 4 hours.
This racetrack is exactly rendered. You know, we put in all this detail and effort, and Polyphony Digital they're on a whole nother level with this type of stuff.
I still haven't done it yet, but I thought about even buying the other Gran Turismo just because it had that VR mode to it, and we should do that. We should do like you guys did with the Ace Combat. Get the
I have literally
get the VR headset, get a racing wheel and pedals, and
no.
Oh.
No, I'm still shook on the Drive Club stuff, man. Like when I had to turn around and look behind there, and then I was like, "Where's the window?" So I could start puking out of it. So I'm like, I can't do shit.
Because there's like $60, $70 kits that you can get they're nowhere close to like the $200 one that they say you have.
Let PlayStation VR finish me off. I was like, I'm ready to put in Resident Evil 7 there again. Let it finish me off.
Oh.
Okay, that's what got me is when you can literally lean out the window. I was like, oh.
Yep.
I'm not gonna hold my breath.
The trifecta. Man, Drive Club was ahead of its day though. We weren't ready for Drive Club. Nobody was. Those rain physics and shit on the windshield and all that. They knew what they were doing. But Gran Turismo 7
at
really,
this
really
point,
good. March
if you're going to sit there and draw a line and tell people you got to pay more money to get the next gen version, I expect significant upgrades, or you're going to get a bunch of shit. I imagine they're going to put their money where their mouth is. So
compatible across everything, or do you think they have that scaling down pretty?
As active as this community is and how competitive as their competitors are on different options, they can't do that anymore. They're gonna eat a lot of bad press for it.
I mean, you have an out. You can just say, "Hey, PS4 Pro's 1080p now. We're not doing 1400p or whatever. You know, whatever that PS4 Pro one was trying to come in at."
I think that's why they changed the name, like you said. I think it's because they were as a test. It was something they wanted to try and see if they wanted to do as a live service.
Like
they came out with Sport 2, and I think I can't find a physical copy of Sport 2, but there's some that's out there.
They had to do a lot of content updates and support and stuff like that to have that one really be, and it was a live service game.
It's an update. It includes the original one, but it has like a whole bunch of new content, and the VR one is all included in it. It's like a separate. They ended up calling it 2.
Right.
So, like, I've only seen maybe 1 or 2 physical copies, and it's only came out in UK because that game's big in the UK than this year.
I see it on the PlayStation Store all the time. It's like Spec 2 or something.
Super expensive. It's like it's a lot of money just to get a physical copy, man. I think it was digital only everywhere else. So I've only seen a physical copy once on eBay, and then it disappeared, and I've never seen it again. I should have spent a couple $100 for it. So said no one ever.
Right. That's the competitive Gran Turismo I was watching was from the UK.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we're at that point in the console cycle where there's not a lot of new shit coming out. So it's like this is the part where I'm willing to okay, if this makes me justify my PS5 purchase, then I will entertain it.
Said no one ever. Are we all in on GT7? Are we going to try this out? Yeah. Yeah. I'm in that wheelhouse of I got a PS5, I got an OLED. Let's see what this looks like. It's gonna look really good. And I still do that with like GT 3 and 4. Like I'll pop those into PS2. Like, damn, these are some good looking games on PS2. They still hold up, man.
Sony's getting their money's worth.
All the way back to that first Gran Turismo, and they came out with 2 right after that with the arcade mode and everything.
Miles Morales.
And they know what they're doing, man. They're wizards over there. Next up, we had Marvel Spider-Man 2. How is Insomniac making all these games? I want to point this out. How are they? They shipped Spider-Man Remaster. They shipped Miles Morales. They shipped Ratchet and Clank. They've got Wolverine announced, which is pretty far off, I would imagine. They got Spider-Man 2 coming out.
So like, I don't know why they didn't mention it all, but the whole person that's speaking the whole time before they show Venom was Kraven. So I'm assuming it's going to be Kraven and Venom as the main villains.
It's crazy.
I've read the comics a lot. I know
this was just a teaser trailer
was given about hunting them and all that stuff. I know it was Kraven
on
there. So
Venom in the background.
I guess it's going to be Kraven and Venom. Because after he finishes giving his whole little spill, that's when Venom comes through and says, "Yes, we are." You know.
Two villains.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then they finished the showcase with God of War Ragnarok.
This looks good.
I guess that is the confirmed title.
I'm hoping that this is going to be
Corey Balrog pull the tape off of
as
t-shirt
good as
and unveil Ragnarok
the
as like the worst kept secret
was
of the past year.
And I mean, they're
I'll
saying
let you guys speak to this because I know you both played the
coup de grace to finish off the Norths. Yeah, and it. Oh, hey.
Of the Norse mythology, God of War, yeah.
The axe, yeah.
I did see on a side note, outside of this show, the gentleman that animated the like return action of the weapons and all that, he passed recently. So yeah, I wanted to note that I saw that. The whole apparently I haven't played the game. I know you guys have. That's a big part of it.
Course,
like
unhappy.
The physics of
There's
the
always those
axe or whatever coming back to you.
Just the way it looked, they're like, this doesn't look any different. How is this next gen? And it's always with the stream.
But did the game look good to you guys?
Wait until the video.
God of War Ragnarok.
I was about to say, to me, it looked really, really good. And then, yeah.
And they showed, I think everything that was shown was captured on PS5. They noted in the trailer, so we don't know what the PS4 version will look like. So, or if there's any hindrances on there.
What I saw of it looked incredible.
I was laughing. I saw PS5 Pro was trending on Twitter. And then
I saw him in a canoe or something going across the water.
Like, finally, we can stop fucking talking about Switch Pro. We just got to throw out PS5 Pro in there just so people shut the hell up about Switch Pro.
PS5 Pro.
Yeah.
Was it PS5
so
Pro?
Somebody on Twitter was saying that it was Nintendo who announced it so they can just get people off their case on the Switch Pro. Yeah. They'll just bitch because it's like, I can't even find a PS5. We're talking about doing a PS5 Pro. It was like, finally, I guess I'm talking about the Switch Pros.
Because you can't find PS5s anyways. Might as well have a PS5 Pro. They have a chip shortage.
No.
No, we just see it more.
A diversion tactic.
We just see it more now because of social media, man, and the ability for people to meet and connect and talk. And we just see more of it now. But I mean, people have always been like this decisive. So I still remember people getting arguments in high school about game consoles, and I was like, oh, okay.
And I'm over here playing Dead Space like, this game's amazing. It looks incredible. It's from 2008. Yeah, but you could just laugh at that. It was so, I mean, it's stupid now, but you would just hear these unfounded madness, bullshit opinions. It was just like, okay, sure. And it was always that extra special bullshit. Like, I heard there's PlayStation 3 is coming out, and it's gonna have,
I just looked at people and just,
it would just be stupid
kept
stuff
buying
people
games
made
and
up.
playing. That's what I do now when people
Really?
argue about
And that was
stuff.
in the,
I was
that
like,
was in the
okay.
day and age when
I mean,
Japan
what was
got
the number one
stuff
argument on
before we
Twitter?
did, so.
Was the argument about
you
Cold War,
realize we'll hear about this
exclusivity?
6 months
That's all
before
people
we
argue about.
actually
They were arguing
have
about
it,
like,
right? There's no way that you can.
I bet it's only this long. I was like,
this crazy.
who cares? The game's not even out. Just wait until they announce stuff. It's like we're arguing about something that's not even out yet, or it's still in the concept phase. Yeah.
Still, that's what we've all done.
So, people were weird, man. I just sat there and I just shake my head. I was like, and then people were buying in and responding to it. I was like, don't respond to this fool. I was like, please don't respond to each other.
We saw nothing but
just
a
let
teaser.
it die.
We saw nothing but a teaser, and it's literally playable right now on Xbox and PC. Right now, you can go play it. A good version of that game, a classic. There are days when I think about not being on social media at all. I step back and I'm like, what am I here for? I mean, the news is going to get there. I've got this recent obsession with old gaming magazines, like remembering that euphoria of getting a new one in the mail and just like pouring through it. Like, that's how we got our information, how much fun that was. And even looking at it now, like, since there was about a month ago, I got that EGM, and I was just sending you pictures of these ads. It was like a full-page spread of like Final Fantasy VII ad or Symphony of the Night. It was like this beautiful advertisement. Like, holy shit! Oh, yeah. It was the Kobe Bryant NBA courtside for GameCube, right? When GameCube had that whole ad campaign where they put like Pikmin and Rogue Leader and all that in the cube. Like, they would have these mini dioramas in the cube, and that was such a cool ad campaign. But I've started to lean. I'll say
I was about to say, but
further
just
against
like
social
everything
media,
else,
but I've
there's
also
always
started to
those
look at more
people
positive
that
stuff. Like, there's a
you
bunch
look
of
at
good
and go,
uplifting accounts.
this is why we can't have nice things.
I feel like that was the purpose
Because
of the internet, is to connect and improve.
I just shake my head and be like, whatever. Man, at that point, I don't even let it bother me. There's some stuff I look at, I just laugh. I laugh out loud because like, this is ridiculous.
Oh God, my faith in humanity is gone.
I just keep it moving. I don't even respond. I was like, that's what they want. They just want people to respond and get in a hoopla. So.
Yeah, essentially.
That post the picture of like all my homies say PS5 picture on there, and I was like, like I'm like, okay, what does this have to do with the conversation? So I'm like,
it's like strangers on the bus. Like,
I don't let that stuff bother me anymore. I just laugh at it. I'm
like, your core group knows what's going on, and they are able to intelligently talk about cross-platform stuff and everything. And then you have this rando.
Yeah.
And then we're in the era of like influencers and stuff. Like, they will get sent free stuff. Like, don't follow these people because they like the exact same thing you do. Know that they are being sent free products to shill these type things. Like, don't be confused. Like, they're super passionate about this because nobody would shoehorn
that's the
themselves
ones that
into
make me
this
laugh.
experience.
And it's like that's my favorite ones when they start making the arguments. Like, all right, time for personal preference. When they talk about which version's better, I was like, here we go, personal preference time. Everybody's got a different
Anybody who knows anything about video games know that is false. You have retro, you have Xbox, you have PC, you have handhelds, you have all kinds of shit, and it just.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. Speaking on that, last week we talked about that video where that YouTuber broke down the newer
and then you have like
PS5
the digital foundries of the world
remodel,
who are technical whizzes,
and literally
he
had to make another video talking about the amount of hate he was getting because
like,
obviously he like titled the video "The New PS5 is Worse," and I mean it's kind of clickbaity, but he's like, that was my opinion. He goes, but now I've got like all these people. He's like, there's some people like sending me death threats. Other people like saying like, oh, you're getting paid by Xbox to do this and that. And then he goes, all I did was take the thing apart and give my opinion. You can't hardly do that anymore.
I mean, it's like I don't really watch that much Digital Foundry stuff, but it's like they just report what's on the screen.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, they look at the numbers.
Followers.
They're
They're not paying me.
It's like
look at their threshold. I'm sure
it's
in there. I'm sure it's
you're
in
just
their
reporting
account
facts
stuff.
on there.
You
It's
can
however you
tell
take
who
it. Some
they're
people
going
just
for.
take it to the extreme.
They purposefully slowed it down to make Xbox
better.
better.
Always been good, and I will die on that hill that they literally report numbers. They run shit through their stuff. Yep, and they tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were doing this years before, like, that was even a thing before, because it wasn't intentional, but they shone the light on the Xbox One being the weaker of those consoles when it came out. Like, this console's running natively at 900p. We see this. PS4 is running at 1080p on the exact same title. Here's the performance differences. But they also, that seems to be when they came in the limelight. They were doing the same thing for 360 and PS3. I watched Dead Space videos where they were breaking down, like, okay, you may want to get the 360 version because this
PS3
was seems to be
notoriously
better.
a little bit harder
PS3
to
seems like it started to be the lead platform,
so
but it seems
some of
like
the optimization just wasn't there.
Was easier for this console, and Dead Space
there's a lot of games
example. I don't want to quote
just natively do a little bit better on 360.
Switches back and forth between whatever was optimized for that system. Mass Effect has all kind of opinions and yeah. Yeah, before those cell APIs were out there,
they had that time to just dedicate.
Go into depth on that, like, hey,
unlike
this time, Naughty Dog was getting out of the PS3 with
where they're churning out however many games. They're working on one thing, they're doing all they can to pull that power out of that system. Where the other guys are just like, well, we got these many games, we got to come out, just get it on there however you can. So,
yeah, those resources. Right. Yeah.
Like I said, that stuff bores me. I don't watch it, but I can tell you right now. Yeah. I don't.
Yeah. No. Both those guys.
Like I said, it doesn't hold my interest. But I can say for a fact that
well over a decade.
All they do is reporting what they see on screen. They're not
making
like, I see the hate online and I don't get it. I'm like, they're literally just reporting. This is what happens. I mean, you want to yell at somebody, yell at who optimized the game. I mean,
Have you seen their DF Retro series where they go into like
showing how the game plays?
God tier.
No.
That's great content.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. All right. How did we get on that? God of War was our last news story. Oh, that was a good discussion, though. We always do a pretty good job with that. Games played, we're at an hour and a half. We'll try to breeze through this. I don't think there's a whole lot to cover here. Played a little bit of Halo as usual. Nothing of note, I believe, with that. Oh, I do have an interesting note. There are some weekly goals that you get. We call them Halo bucks. So you'll achieve things through multiplayer matches or campaign missions or whatever. Like there's weekly, there's seasonal, there's goals that you can complete. And an easy one every week is to complete campaign missions. Like specifically the ones we like to do are Halo 1 and Halo Reach. They call them the bookends. So it's like the first one. I guess the last Halo that was done by Bungie and the first Halo that was done by Bungie. So they call it the bookends. And when we need a Halo buck or two for the cosmetics, because they don't sell actually anything through their store, we'll run a couple of those missions. And Russell, friend of the show, Russell introduced me to this. We run Pillar of Autumn, the very first mission of the very first Halo Combat Evolved. And we've mastered it on Legendary where we could literally run through it in probably, I think it's 9 minutes and 50 seconds or something like that. Like it's sub 10 minutes that we can run through that first mission, Pillar of Autumn, as co-op. You're both Master Chiefs in that first Halo. It's kind of weird how they never retconned that, and even when they did the anniversary, like when they unseal the Hush casket, it's like 2 Master Chiefs that pop out of the cryo chambers. But we run that on occasion, and then Russell was over here 3 nights ago, I think it was, and this is a side note, but I actually wired my retro station. Like, I've got my tube TV set up. I've got Sega Saturn, Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, N64. There might be one more. I've got them going to S-Video. And then on the bottom shelf, I have PS2, Xbox, and Wii/GameCube going through component. So I have those hooked up with switches and everything, and I've got everything, good cable management. Shout out to Professor Messer, VSSR, who advised don't plug it in if you're not going to play it. Just don't have it plugged in. I actually printed out some cable labels at the end of each power adapter. Like, you can tell the difference between I've got the Xbox one that came out later that has like the surge protection thing at the end of it, and a Wii power cord. It's gray. So you can tell the difference, but I put a cable label on there and put a sticker on there that has the logo on it. So I can, just plug in whatever I want to and hit the switch, and then I'm ready to go on both of those. And I made sure everything worked, that kind of stuff. So long story short, Russell was here a couple nights ago, and we were like, hey, we've never run Pillar of Autumn on original hardware on Legendary. We weren't this good. When we bought our Xbox in like 2002 or 2003, whenever it was. Because when we got that first Halo, we were on a wait list. Halo was sold out. We had to get on a wait list at EB Games to get a copy of Halo. And it was a greatest hits game by then, but it was just still hard to find because anybody who had an Xbox wanted Halo, right? And when we got ours, that's what we wanted. And, our first game was actually KOTOR because we were on that wait list. So that was one of the titles we had to have for our Xbox. Like, we got to have this. And we had been running Pillar of Autumn on Master Chief Collection. I'm running it in, on Xbox Series X, like the best it could possibly look, all this kind of stuff. And it's interesting to drop back to the roots of this series and play this split screen and see it chug in certain areas. But there's also a charm to, this is how we first experienced Halo. This is how we played this campaign, because multiplayer was fun with the two of us. Like, we'd set up the sniping missions once we got a second Xbox, and we'd be in separate rooms and that kind of thing. But the campaign was where it was at. When you bought a new shooter, you got it for the story. You got it for the campaign. Multiplayer was a side thing. Like, if it was even anything, like, famously, that first Halo Combat Evolved shipped with multiplayer as like an add-on. They threw it in at the very end. So that campaign was like the legacy of a bunch of those titles, especially that generation. It seems like last generation we started to get really, really into multiplayer first. Well, I'm sorry, 2 generations ago, PS3, 360, we started to lean more into like multiplayer betas, and we want you in for the multiplayer for this because that's going to sell the subscription. It wasn't quite to the cosmetics and microtransactions. It wasn't quite to that point yet, but that's definitely where they made their money, was like season passes and expansion packs and things like that. But we ran that original Halo Combat Evolved Legendary mission. We ran it like 10 minutes, and there was some slowdown, and it does not run like it does on Master Chief Collection. It's an older game, but it still had that same charm, and we actually played through two missions. We did the mission right after that, so that was a lot of fun. Dead Space, I'm up to the 4th chapter. I've run into a couple of... I'm not quite to the ammo conservation part that you guys were warning me about, but there's definitely some enemies that you go up against, and if it's not a perfect shot, or like you execute what they're asking you to do immediately, I'm restarting. I'm like, I can see what's happening here, and if I don't pull this off, it's not going to go well. This area that I'm in, there's areas of the floor that are blowing up in the air, and if you walk over them, it'll blow you up and kill you immediately. So I had that. I had a big giant thing. Someone warned me about it, and then this thing just came like crashing through the hull of the ship at me. And luckily I had the right weapon. It's like there's a saw weapon that I have that shoots the saw out, and it just kind of hovers in midair, like right out, an extension from where Isaac's at. And it would just cut him up. So I at least had that to defeat this thing. But I've encountered like 2 more of those things, and they're bullshit when they come out. Because you can't, Dead Space up to this point has trained me to use corridors to my advantage and kind of kite enemies around so that I can get the right angle and to cut their appendages off and things like that. This fucker just comes straight through the geometry of the level and like walls and everything. He don't give a shit. He just comes at you. And I was thinking, because it was right after the part where I met the things on the floor that are like zero gravity holes in the floor that just blow up in the air. I'm like, man, I'll move around in the room until he comes across one of those, and then it'll just kill him. And they avoid those. They go around them. Like, damn it, this game's smarter than I am. Where I left off, I died like 2 times here, and I was like, fuck this game for now. I can't do this right now. But I had to run across the exterior of the ship while an asteroid field's coming at me. And they never really tell you, like, okay, the asteroids are coming at you, you got to get behind something. So they said you had to find cover, but I didn't know what cover meant, like what they were asking me to do. And then, like, the 3rd time I died, I could see the asteroids coming over the top of the ship the way the camera was positioned. So then I could get behind something. You don't have to duck like Gears of War style or anything. You just get behind the thing, and it lets you live. But you at least need to have 1 air tank refill, because you can't make it all the way down the path to this turret area without having one of those air tank refills. So I did burn one of those. And then when you get to the end of that part, you're in a turret, like almost Star Wars style, like Star Wars A New Hope, where the TIE fighters are coming through. But there's asteroids. You're in an asteroid field, and you have to blow up the asteroids as they're coming to hit the ship, because the defense system's not online yet, which I just spent fucking an hour getting back online, and now I'm manually shooting the asteroids, and I couldn't figure out the shooting immediately. Like, I'm using left and right stick. Like, what do I do here? There's no HUD on this game, so you're kind of winging it as you go, and I love that about it. None of these are knocks against the game. This is a masterpiece game in my opinion. It's a stellar flagship of gaming. Everybody needs to play Dead Space. But I died 3 times trying to defend these asteroids, and I don't have the right rhythm down on it, and I was like, I'll come back to this. And as usually happens with this game, when I just step away for a little while and then come back to it, I'm good to go right after that. So it continues to be good. I love the atmosphere. So many jump scares, so many unexpected events, You're going down a hallway and something's going to come out at you, and it never does. And then you round the corner and it drops out of the ceiling. And it never lets up with that. And even though I just complained about the asteroid running across the asteroid field and the shooting the asteroids out of the turret, those are 2 new gameplay elements that I didn't have until the last 20 minutes of gameplay. So they're still introducing new elements, and right before that was the spots in the floor that would immediately shoot you up and kill you. So there are some enemies that go into that. It just wasn't the big one that I was after. I'm not really running out of ammo yet. Health seems to be an issue, but I'm trying to gauge spending my power nodes on health upgrades on the suit or like weapon upgrades. But I'm kind of sitting on a couple now just to see how that breaks down and see what I need to do. But kind of gauging on the flow of the chapters. I'm close to the end of chapter 4, and I'm averaging about 35 to 45 minutes per chapter. But it's an awesome ass game, and it looks so good on backwards compatibility on Series X with that auto HDR. It is just, that's a good ass looking game, and it plays flawlessly. So that is my Dead Space update. My kids are still playing Toe Jam and Earl. Spoke about that last week, and they still ask me, can we play Toe Jam and Earl? So now it's like a reward thing, and they will play until they get bored, which is fine. They'll get to level 5 or 6 and get a couple ship pieces, and then they'll be over it. While I have the Genesis hooked up, I had my oldest play Mickey Mouse Castle of Illusion for the Genesis. And there is a practice mode to that kind of lets you beat the game. It's really short. It's 15 minutes because you can't really take a whole lot of damage. But it's just 3 levels, and it kind of lets you get to the end. So the oldest definitely really enjoyed that. And then I will finish with, they are currently hooked on Kinect Sports, the first rare collection for the Xbox 360 Kinect. And specifically, not the whole game, specifically bowling. They love the bowling. And I think I talked about it a couple of weeks ago where I was not that good at it. But they ask for it, and they know, they hold their hand up to select their player, then they grab the ball with the hand down, and they know they go to town, man. All I have to do is turn the TV and the Xbox on, and they're ready to go. They can get all the way through the menus. They can sign up for 2 players. They can pick their storage
easy.
device. Remember that? You had to pick your storage device.
I played this much this week. I think I'll talk about earlier in the show, Sonic Colors.
every time. And they go to town with some bowling. So those are their current.
I got about 4 hours into it.
Those are my.
That's another way you can go at it
this week.
I think it's just the first world, which is multiple acts. I don't remember. I think I've never played the Wii one. I've played the DS one.
Sonic Colors Ultimate.
So this is probably the first time.
Like Gears of War Ultimate Edition.
Mm-hmm. It's probably the last like portable one, Sonic portable one that was considered a good one until they start coming out with the Sega Ages stuff. Yeah, I mean this one's a little bit bigger. You basically Eggman is
that
built
one's
like
pretty good too, right? That one's considered really
amusement park in space. And Sonic sneaks in before the place actually opens up to check everything out, make sure he's not a bad place. He's telling the world that he's changed and he's to make amends for it. He made an amusement park in space for the world to join. And then Sonic's always like, there's something too good to be true, about it. And so they sneak up on there, and that's pretty much your story in there. As you go through the levels, like the first level is kind of like a tutorial level. It's like the old school 3D one where you're just running through and you're doing the homing jump and all that. It's like that stuff they've had since the Dreamcast era.
Super Eggman World.
And whatever they added on since then as they went through the PS2 and Xbox ones. So you see the robot Eggman's capturing alien, when they call them aliens, are like wisp naturally on that area. They come with different colors, and as you go through the levels, you'll see certain areas of the levels are locked depending on different colors of the alien wisp race. You have to get those to unlock different aspects of the levels to go back later and to get everything. So like there's these little red star dots in there where you have to collect every one for each level to unlock Supersonic. They kind of let you know in the beginning of the game before you start, like, hey, you need all these to unlock Supersonic. And so like some of this stuff is kind of certain access areas from the level are hidden off depending on, it's like, I guess that Mario 64 type of stuff where you have to like hit the green or red button to get access to different levels later on. That's that type of thing. So and as you go through each level, each world has maybe like, I think 7 or 8 levels, and then you have a boss at the end of it. And there's like maybe 5 or 6 planets, and then a amusement park where you can go through the whole story. So I've only maybe went through the first 2 worlds. So I'm like, I'm just kind of messing around with it. I've been tired. I didn't really focus too much on it, to be honest with you. So it plays like a 3D Sonic game. It's one of the better ones. I still prefer Sonic Generations. It's still my favorite one, just because that was kind of like the best hit. And I still go back to that one and pop that one every so often.
Right.
Generations is the best one to me, but that was a mixture of 3D and 2D, and it was a good balance, and it was like the greatest hits. So it's like you played like the best levels from all the Sonic games from 2D and 3D, and they popped it in there. So that was, if I ever
3D Sonic.
Get like a,
because it seems like Sonic
for
never
3D
really
Sonic, that's the one I go to. For 2D Sonic, I probably do Sonic Mania. That one is really good. One of the newer ones. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Like I said, I've been busy doing other things. But yeah, that's it. I'll kick it over to Brand to finish up.
I continued to play Ghost of Tsushima still, the director's cut. And I did open up the first island, or the first portion of that island. Saved Jin's uncle, and got to the point where I could jump into the DLC. Found out that the DLC, the Iki Island expansion, is something you probably should do after you've beaten the actual main story, because if you don't, there's definitely kind of some spoiler there. This is story-wise. Yeah. Cesar talked about it last week, where this is basically Jin goes over there because there's these new Mongols that just kind of, these new types of enemies that show up.
Story-wise or gameplay elements? Okay.
And he realizes that they're coming from Iki Island, and there's some new not really like a Mongol general or anything, but she calls herself the Eagle, and she's doing this stuff that's like making people go crazy. And so he figures this was a scouting party. This is, a big enough threat. I need to go over there and figure this out. But like Cesar said, his father went over there in the past.
This is where a story bit happens with the father.
Yeah.
Main story. This is why you're saying you should play the main story first before you hit the island. So.
Yeah. So
it continues on there. I don't think it was mentioned in the main story. They kind of retrofitted to this island.
Yeah.
I don't remember being a part of it. So
in the past, Jin's father had gone over there to quell a rebellion and all this.
Some of the first part.
And you have to go kind of into Jin's past, and I'm enjoying the story a lot so far. There's different types of enemies now. We've talked about how there's kind of like this rock, paper, scissors thing going on. So there's like big brute enemies. There's enemies that usually only use like a sword or two swords, a sword and shield, or a spear. And there's different styles of attacks you can use, and you can switch them on the fly to deal with them. But on this island, there's now enemies that they carry everything. There's these big guys that they've got swords, they've got a spear and a shield on their back, and you'll be fighting them one way, and then they jump back and they'll switch on the fly, and you've got to switch it up how you're attacking them. Along with Cesar mentioned, there's like these dudes in the back. They're like shamans, and they'll start doing this like Mongol chant thing, and it powers up all the enemies, and it makes their attacks pretty devastating. So you
have to go for those shaman. You wind up
having to charge. Yeah. You got to charge back because they always are hiding in the back and just like sitting there chanting. So you've got to like try and run through all these guys, not get killed, and get to these shaman dudes and murder them. And sometimes there's just one, sometimes there's two, sometimes there's three, and they like to sometimes they like to position themselves up on some like little elevated things, and you've got to try and like get up there and get to them. So and then there's other little things like in the main story I talked about when I first played this game. There's all these legends of this person's bow or this person's armor, and it's this giant legend, and you're told word of mouth about this person's tale, and it goes through, and it's like this ink painting showing you this person's explaining their life and their legacy. And now their ghost haunts this over here, and I did one of those and got this armor that's actually pretty damn cool, and it negates your regular guard, but it like highly increases the chance of you doing a like perfect parry. And if you do a perfect parry, it gives you like these like 3 quick attacks, and you can like quickly attack this person right here and like immediately switch to a different opponent. So it winds up being pretty cool.
Worth the trade-off.
And yeah, I'm going through the story on that. I'm still really, really enjoying that. I'll probably finish up the Iki Island stuff. And I may go through the main story still, but I really wanted to get through the new stuff, and I could have booted up my full save file and gone back into it, but I think I would have had that block, that disconnect that Cesar was talking about, where he didn't remember how to play and pick up the combat.
The new stuff.
I have the physical disc, and it's basically just a key in my PS5, and I upgraded it digitally. So, and then other than that,
what path?
I think we maybe played. No, I think we maybe played one game of Pokemon Unite on the holiday.
Okay.
And other than that, I did
any old school, any GBA,
go
any
to
Pokemon
the local
Unite?
game store and pick up our game club game, and I started it.
They need to reel you back in.
For those who
some special
did not
or
see our Instagram post,
character,
and we had mentioned it that we were kicking around bringing back Game Club. We are, and for the month of September, we're doing Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
Oh,
so I've started that, and I know we'll play it for this month, and we'll talk about it at the end. That way, everybody's got a good bit of time to go over it. And yeah,
well done.
PC, yeah, and Switch, yeah. So if anybody has had any,
Switch is native, not cloud.
It is.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a copy. Yeah.
Oh,
and that'll be the end of the month that we touch on. That. You can play that on PS4, PS5,
but yeah, if anybody's
Xbox,
interested,
consoles,
you can always send
PC.
comments
And Switch. Switch
your reviews of the game, or play with us, and then send them in toward the end of the month. NOFODcast@gmail.com, and Russell will direct them to somebody. So
he's got a huge, really huge list. Got plenty of time.
Yeah, but yeah, I can't wait for you guys, because
or Instagram.
Did any of us actually play that game when it had come out, or?
That's like a 2.5 year backlog now.
I got to the second boss.
We've been doing this for a long time.
A couple years back.
I had never played it. I've never picked it up. I'd heard decent things, but I'm enjoying it. It's good, and I can't wait to talk about it with y'all.
I got about 2 hours in like a year ago, 2 years ago. No, it had to be 2 years ago because I wasn't here. Yeah, same. Yeah.
I was about to say, yeah, I've got 3D audio going with the PlayStation 5 headset, and I think it is a must.
It was one of my first.
My only
I've got
complaint
this
is that
ultra-wide monitor.
It does throw up that error when you play it on PS5. There may be issues in the right-hand corner.
Oh god.
Yeah.
And the headphones and everything. Because they recommend you play with headphones on that one.
It looks like butthole in 60 frames per second. It takes a huge graphical hit.
Good deal.
Yeah, I had to turn off 60 frames a second.
Yeah.
It looked like the Switch version was 60 frames per second.
I do. I thought about
Brent, play your way, man. I'm playing on PS4 also. Yeah.
I was gonna say, if any of us, I figured I'd try it on PS4 because I figured at least one of you, if not both of you, might go Series X.
Do you have a Series X?
This game's easy platinum, so I'll be playing on PS4.
Again, pick it's everywhere. Pick your version.
You just gotta beat the game and platinum it. That's it.
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, that's games played.
I will be doing Series X. I've got it installed. I just
absolutely not.
Follow us on Instagram. Share us with your friends. Find us anywhere you get your podcasts. So I think that's it.
All right, you guys got anything else you want to add? Watch more anime, SSR.
Yeah. Hey, we did that round table BS when I started naming off. Yeah.
Yep. We don't have an audience. We just accumulate them down to this
show. SSR burned out over 3 years of rattling off SoundCloud, Stitcher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you already found us. Where else can you find us?
Yeah. Appreciate it. It's always a pleasure.
Or something we don't do Patreon, just like a tip jar type thing, potentially. Even if we're throwing it in there for ourselves for dues every year.
Love you.
But that's inside baseball. I think some people would tip us. I think we got some fans out there. Whether you tip us or not, we appreciate you listening. We enjoy doing this. So.
I'm glad you took the relationship with the podcast.
Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll catch you next week. Bye.
See ya.
As long as Brent knows it's him, not me. I'm not telling anybody I love him.
Brent, the floor is yours.